Hey guys, what's up? This is Blaze the Movie Fan, and it's time for another episode review. This time I will be reviewing the Fairly Odd Parents episode, Fairly Odd Fairy Tales. Now before I get started talking about the episode, I'd just like to let you know that I haven't watched this show in years. In fact, the first season of Fairly Odd Parents is so far the only season of that show that I have. And besides that, I only watched the show a few times on television while I was younger. So before checking this episode out, I think I've only seen episodes from the first and second season. I decided to check out the latest episode to see if the show still holds up. Now, is it a good episode? Well, let's get started with it. The episode basically begins with Cosmo and Wanda trying to get Poof to bed. Who the fuck is Poof anyway? It's not the fault of the episode that I don't know who that character is. It's entirely my fault since I haven't seen the show in years. And I haven't seen the episode where that character was introduced. But apparently Poof is a baby that doesn't really act like a baby. In fact, he says some shit like, "My bedstory is until you go to sleep so I can stay all night watching television." That line was stupid. So yeah, from what I see, it is a baby that doesn't really act like one. But anyway, meanwhile, Timmy Turner is reading a comic called Burp Boy and Fart Man. That's a fucking stupid title for a comic, and it's not even funny. I mean, seriously, who the hell would title their comic with such a stupid title? But anyway, Timmy says that he is too old to hear fairy tales. But Cosmo and Wanda start telling fairy tales anyway, since they need to do it for Poof. So anyway, they start by a story that's a spoof of Cinderella. And yeah, the story of Cinderella has been parodied so many times. But I actually think they do it very well here. Instead of Cinderella, the story is about a man who has to deal with asshole brothers. And those brothers really treat the guy like shit. I am willing to admit, I do find how they do it to be funny. It doesn't mean I support them though, but yeah. So anyway, Cosmorella wants to meet up with the princess, but his asshole brothers don't want him to come anywhere near her. But thankfully though, somebody comes that is willing to help Cosmorella. And that is the fairy godmother. Well, alright. Why is that character called the fairy godmother in here? I mean, the fairy godmother here is a fucking guy. So wouldn't it be more appropriate to call him the fairy godfather? Calling a guy a fairy godmother just doesn't seem right to me. Yeah, I find this to be incredibly fucking stupid. But anyway, Cosmorella is now dressed like a bowler. And the castle is also kinda like a bowling alley. Mixing the story of Cinderella with bowling is fucking awesome. I'm gonna have to admit that. And it's also very creative. Now the princess gets rid of Cosmorella's asshole brothers quickly by getting rid of them the same way we get rid of bowling pins, which is so fucking awesome. But anyway, after his magic wears off, there's only one thing that should be done. Let every man in the city wear the shoes, and the one that the shoes fit the most is the one who the princess is looking for. And this story ends basically the same way as the story of Cinderella. Of course, with the gender being reversed. I'm gonna have to admit, that parody of the Cinderella story is fucking awesome. It really is. I had a lot of fun with it. But there are more parodies in this episode of popular fairy tales. Next coming up is a parody of the tale of the three pigs. Except this time it's more creative. One of the people has a house made out of hot scissors, one has a house made out of tennis balls, and one has a house made out of steel with high security. And holy shit, that is so fucking awesome. But anyway, a villain who is a spoof of the Bad Wolf threatens to blow away the houses. But with the tennis ball house, he realizes that he can just take the tennis ball away and be done with it. Yeah, making a house entirely of tennis balls is fucking stupid. And by fucking stupid, I mean stupid in a funny way. I just found that to be very funny. Anyway, the owner of the house, made out of hot scissors, gets burned in his tongue so he can't taste anything anymore. That does fucking suck, and I feel bad for the poor guy. But thankfully though, a similar thing happens to the villain when he blows up the hot scissors house, and a lot of it gets on him. Now the steel house is the fucking best one. Because even though the villain manages to destroy the house, it rebuilds itself in a fucking millisecond. That is so fucking awesome. But he tries to send that steel house to space. Why does he want to blow up those houses, by the way? Well, it's because he wants to open a cheeseburger restaurant. Which is a fucking creative plan, I must admit. But anyway, he can't send the steel house far into space. Because it falls down and destroys the fucking cheeseburger restaurant. That truly is awesome. To be entirely honest, I don't have anything else to say about this story. It's fucking awesome and I like it a lot. But as it turns out, Poof has finally fallen asleep. But Timmy is now interested in hearing more stories, despite the fact that he claimed to be too old for them. Yeah, the reason why he wants to hear more is because he does think that the stories are fucking awesome and more than just average fairy tales. And you know what? I totally agree with him. Anyway, the third and final story here begins with a woman who has a lot of teeth in her collection talking to her mirror. The mirror points out how fucking creepy it is that she has a lot of teeth, and I'm gonna have to admit that is funny and very true. The mirror also points out how crazy he is for talking to her mirror, and that is fucking funny as well. Yeah, the conversation between those two is so fucking funny. But she finds out that the person she wants to talk to is Wanda. The conversation between that woman and the mirror is the only good part about this quote-unquote story. So basically Wanda wants to hide. So the best place to hide is to go to a dirty kitchen and clean up, since no one would suspect that she is there. What? How the fuck does cleaning up a kitchen help you hide? That makes absolutely no sense, and it's fucking stupid. And she's also offered to go to the laundry room so she can clean up there. Cleaning up has nothing to do with hiding. Am I surprised that the villain of the story was able to find her easily? No, not at all. Frankly, I think the people who lived in that house were just trying to fucking use her. But despite that, she still trusts them. What the fuck? But anyway, after the villain gives Wanda a poisonous apple, she faints, but not for long. Because a prince comes and also tells some very funny toilet jokes. And yes, she goes with that prince. Meanwhile, the villain goes back to her creepy teeth collection or whatever. Yeah, I got nothing else to say about this particular fairy tale. But anyway, this is basically where this episode ends. Now it's time for my overall thoughts. This episode has many stupid moments. Some of these stupid moments weren't funny but just stupid. But I do think that for the most part this episode is fucking awesome. Yeah, this episode did such a good job making a great parody of well-known fairy tales. And it did it in such a fucking creative way. And for that I want to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I fucking love this episode. Well guys, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.